All right. Good morning, everybody. Let's just go ahead and get started. We will start on our backs this morning. So with your feet, a couple of options. So you can either bring the bottoms of the feet together. Hey, let those knees open up wide. So a little bit of a stretch through that inner thigh. If that's a little bit too much this morning, bring those feet a little bit wider and let those knees come together to touch. Just go ahead and rest one hand on the stomach. One hand's going to rest on the chest. Just closing down those eyes. And just taking those really big breaths in. Really feeling the lungs. You'll feel that belly expand. You'll feel the rib cage expand. Holding that breath in. Try and pull in even more air. And exhale that breath out just nice and slow. Again, big breath in. Feel that the lowest part of the lungs up to the middle, finally all the way up to the collarbones. Big expansion of that rib cage. And exhaling that breath out. Again, just nice and slow. Again, a couple more times, just like that on your own. So we'll breathe in through the nose, and then we'll breathe out through the nose. Just really being aware of that breath. Noticing the rise and fall of the belly, of the chest, with each inhale and each exhale. And we'll start to, depending on where the legs were, we'll hug that right knee into the chest, and we're going to extend that left leg out long. Okay, so flexing that left foot, pointing those toes, and then we're going to extend that right leg up towards the ceiling. So we're going to interlace those fingers behind that right hamstring, or if you're feeling a little bit more mobile this morning, which I'm not, maybe you can reach all the way up towards that foot, or maybe even that calf, kind of up to you. I'm not forcing it here. And we're just going to gently press our hamstring, so our leg, into our hands. At the same time, we're going to start to draw that leg a little bit closer to the body. So we want to feel that big stretch all along the back of the leg, flexing that foot, so pulling those toes to the shin. So really active in the stretch, really pressing that foot up to the ceiling, pressing that leg into the hands. At the same time, we're pulling that belly and pulling the thigh closer to that belly. And then we'll release that knee, hug that knee in, finding that spinal twist so that left hand can just guide that knee across as that right arm reaches out, squeezing out towards that right hand. Then we'll bring that knee back to center, just switching sides. So we'll hug that left knee in, right leg is going to extend out. And then as we start to straighten that leg, grab onto that hamstring, calf, or maybe that big toe. And we're going to press the leg into the hands. And then at the same time, we're going to start to pull that leg a little bit closer to the body, flexing that foot, pulling those toes back to the shins. I'm going to feel that stretch all along the backs of the leg. And keep that foot nice and flexed. Pulling that leg in a little bit closer to the body for that last breath. And we will release, rebending that knee. The right hand is just going to twist that knee across the body. The left hand will reach out long, keeping that left shoulder grounded down as we find that twist. And then bring that knee back to center. Go ahead and hug those knees in. We're going to rock ourselves forward and back. We're going to come all the way up to that seated position. So sitting up nice and tall, legs are crossed. We're going to reach those arms up overhead. Good. Exhale. We're going to find that side stretch over to that right side, just gazing up underneath that arm. Inhale. We're going to bring it back up so we go to the other side. So reaching that right arm up, left arm reaches up and over. And inhale, we'll reach those arms up and we'll twist it over to that right side. Sitting nice and tall on that inhale. Exhale a little deeper into that twist. Inhale, we'll bring it back to center, reaching those arms up. And exhale, we'll twist it to the other side. Lengthening on that inhale and exhale a little deeper into that twist. Good, inhale, bring it back up. We're gonna go through that 2 more times. So reaching it up and over. Inhale it back up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, reach it back up. And exhale that twist. Inhale it back up. To the other side twist. Inhale, reach it back up. Side bend, last time through. Inhale it up. And to the other side. Inhale, reach it up. And twist. Back to center. And twisting it to the other side. Good, bring it back to center. We're gonna make our way onto our hands and knees. So we're just gonna go into a couple of those cat-cows. So on that inhale, we're gonna drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone as we look up. Exhale, roll around that spine, pressing the shoulder blades away. Really draw that belly up and in as we tuck the chin, looking towards those thighs. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone as we look up. Exhale, round. Good, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, round. One more time through. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. And bringing it back to neutral spine. Let's see. We're going to send that right leg back. So flex that foot. Square those hips off. So we extend that leg out. We don't want to open up that hip. We want to level those hips out. So think about rotating that right pinky toe down towards the mat. That belly is pulled up and in. So this low back is staying nice and flat. And from there, we're going to reach that right hand, or no, your left hand forward. So we want opposite hand, opposite leg. Exhale, curl that knee in, drawing that elbow to touch the knee, a little rounding through the spine. Then inhale, we'll extend it back out, keeping that back nice and flat. Good, then exhale, curl it in. Inhale, reach it back out. Last time, curl that knee in. Inhale, extend it back out. Good, now lower that hand down, lower that knee down. Switching sides, we're gonna extend that left leg out. So again, rotate that. Pinky toe down, right arm is gonna reach forward. Exhale, curl that knee and draw that elbow to the knee. Inhale, reach it back out. Exhale, curl it in. Inhale, reach. Last time, curl that knee in. Inhale, reach it back out. Then lower that hand down. Lower that knee down. If you need another couple rounds of cat-cow, go for it. Again, we're just starting to loosen up, warm up the body this morning. And if you keep those curls, if you keep the toes curled under, and you can send those hips back, get a little stretch through the bottoms of the feet. And rock from side to side. And if you want to get a little more intense with it, just sit yourself up into a seated position. So even making sure those pinky toes are curled under, sitting tall, drawing those shoulders down and back. Just taking a few breaths here just to breathe. Okay, well, my breath, I know some of you might be feeling this one. Just focus on that breath. Good, then release those hands down. We're gonna step those feet back to our plank and then hips to the sky, that downward facing dog. Just taking a couple breaths to pedal out those feet. Bending one knee as we press that opposite heel down towards the ground. One more breath. You're in down dog. Just flip that camera. Good. Now inhale on those toes. Bend into those knees, look forward, stepping those feet to the top of the mat. Then inhale, sliding the hands up the shins for that half lift, that nice flat spine. Exhale, slide those hands down as we fold. Just let that head hang nice and heavy. And now bending into those knees, we're gonna rise all the way up to standing, reach it up nice and tall. Exhaling those hands to heart center. And inhale, we're gonna reach those arms back up. Then exhale, fold. Inhale, we're gonna find that half lift. So nice flat back. We're gonna bend into, so I'll mirror you guys, your right knee, okay, back is flat. So we twist, reaching that left arm up. So notice when I twist, I'm not swaying my hips out to the side. If I had an imaginary line down the middle of my mat, my spine would be right on top of that line. And opening up, gazing up towards that left hand. One more breath. And then lower that hand down as we fold. Let the head and the arms hang heavy. We'll go to the other side. Inhale, lift and lengthen out. We're gonna bend into that left knee as we twist. Right arm is gonna reach up. So again, my hips aren't swaying out towards that right side. Pull them back towards the midline of the mat. Lifting that chest, lifting the tailbone, gazing up towards that right hand. And then release those hands down as we fold. And inhale, bend into those knees, flatten out the back, rise all the way up to standing, reach it up nice and tall. And then exhale, we'll fold it forward, plant those hands as we step those feet back to our plank. Okay, we'll shift that weight forward, shoulders over the fingertips, lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, we'll send those hips back to the sky, downward facing dog. Good, now inhale on the toes. Bend those knees, step those feet, top of the mat. Half lift on that inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we'll rise. And exhaling those hands to heart center. And inhale, we'll reach those arms back up. Exhale, fold. Flat back on that inhale as we bend into that right knee, twisting left arm reaches up. Lower that hand down as we fold. Going to the other side, flattening out that back, twisting, reaching that right arm up. Exhale the hands down as we fold. Inhale, bend to knees, flatten out that back, rise all the way up to standing. And exhale, fold. Flatten out the back, inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, step those feet back, moving through that vinyasa. So shift the weight forward, lower it down. Inhale, lift. And exhale those hips to the sky, down dog. Good, now inhale on the toes. Step those feet top of the mat. Half lift on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we'll rise to standing. Exhale those hands to heart center. Then inhale, we'll reach those arms back up as we fold. So bending into that right knee, left arm reaches up. And fold. To the other side. Lift and lengthen out, bending into that left knee, right arm reaches up. Good, and fold it forward. Inhale, rise to standing. This time we're gonna add a little side stretch to it, so interlace those fingers, bend it over to the right. Inhale it back up. Exhale it over to the left. Good. Inhale, reach it back up, and exhale, fold it forward. Find that flat back. And exhale, plant those hands down, stepping those feet back to our plank. Lower it down. Inhale, lift. And exhaling, just bring those hips back to those heels. We're gonna go into that child's pose. So if you want to bring those knees a little bit wider, those toes can come together to touch. Send those hips back to the heels, reaching those arms forward as we soften that chest and that forehead down to the mat. Just pausing for a couple breaths. And maybe you can reconnecting with that nice Full inhale, feeling that rib cage expanding into those legs, and then exhaling all that breath out. Okay, now come back up onto those hands and knees. Go ahead and step those feet back to our plank, and then bring it on up to downward facing dog. So we're gonna go into that pigeon pose, but I'll give you guys a couple of options if this is a little bit too much this morning. So we're gonna extend that right leg up. Okay, we're gonna bring that right knee to that right wrist. A foot is gonna come across. So here, I'll mirror you guys. It's gonna look a little bit like this. So knee to the wrist, foot is across here. Now, one thing, if your hips are super, super tight, okay, you can have a block handy. Okay, you can slide that block right underneath the hip. So depending on how high or how tight the hips are, you can bring that block a little bit higher. Then you can just let that block kind of take some of the pressure off a little bit. Again, as we hold it, if you want to move that block down a little bit lower, you can. Okay, if this pigeon isn't really working for you, it's hurting your knee or your ankle or whatever, go ahead and roll it onto your back. We'll cross that ankle over, and we'll take this approach. So right hand goes through the window the inner thighs are making. You just grab onto that left hamstring and hold it here. So a couple of options, just doing what works for you. We really just want to find that nice stretch through this right outer hip right here. Now, if you just want to stay here in that pigeon, that's fine. Okay. If you want to take it up a notch, okay, go ahead and come back onto the hands. We're going to start to bend. See my foot? Here we go. Bend that knee. Okay. We're going to reach our right hand back, reaching for that foot. So it's a little bit of a twist. Now, as we grab onto that foot, okay, I want you to make sure that you're bringing that heel right to that left glute and not yanking that foot across the body. Okay, we want that knee tracking in that nice straight line. Okay, now from here, okay, maybe you're feeling that big stretch in the quad and you're good here, or if you want to take it a little bit further, you can lower it down onto the forearm. So this might be a pretty big quad stretch for some of you, and if you don't want to do it, or if you're not feeling it, or if it hurts your knees, just go ahead and release it. Just go back to that pigeon pose. So again, this is just an option. Staying with that breath. You have that foot, go ahead and release it. Go ahead and come back onto those hands. Move nice and slow as we send that leg back. So you can just go to down dog, pedal those feet out, or if you want to extend that leg up towards the ceiling, maybe even open up through that hip, that is an option too. And then we'll lower that foot down. And we'll go to the other side. So inhaling that left leg up towards the sky. We're gonna bring that left knee to that left wrist. Foot's gonna slide across, sliding that right leg back. So again, if you want the block underneath your hip, go ahead and put it there, or you wanna be on your back, you could do that too. So this side of the body might be a little completely different. Maybe if you have an injury on this side and you need to go on your back, go ahead and do so. Just make sure we're listening to the body. And then you can start to rest that head down. If the ground's a little bit far away and you have an object or a pillow or a towel that you want to rest your head on, you can. Maybe even just resting it on your fist, that works too. Now, if you want to take that quad stretch, you're going to come up onto the hands. Start to bend into that back knee. Okay, reaching the left arm back this time, so we'll grab onto that foot. Okay, make sure we're bringing that foot right to that the right glute, that right hip. Okay. And then if you want a little bit more intensity in that stretch, you can lower down onto that forearm. You're just being really aware of that knee. Make sure it is tracking in that nice straight line. Stay with that breath. Go ahead and release that foot down. And slowly start to make your way back onto those hands. And we'll send that foot back to that downward facing dog. So again, if you want to reach that leg up to the ceiling, open up that hip, you can. And then we'll move through one last vinyasa. So shifting that weight forward, lower it down. Inhale, lift. And exhale those hips up into that downward facing dog. And then go ahead and lower onto those knees. Okay, sit off to one side and just swing those legs around. So we're coming into that seated position, legs across, sitting up nice and tall, just letting those hands rest on your knees. Just pausing here for a few breaths just to close out this practice. Relaxing those shoulders down, just sitting nice and tall. Big breath in through the nose, feeling that spine growing taller as we fill those lungs with air. And exhale, softening into the mat. A couple more breaths just like that, just for being in this space. Just showing that no matter how crazy the day might get, this calm, quiet space is only a couple breaths away. Inhale those arms up overhead. Palms will meet, bringing those hands to heart center. Thank you guys so much for being here. I will see you tomorrow night, 4:45. Have a good day.